I hate tie downs. Do you hate tie downs as much as I do? Because if you clicked on this video, you just might hate them as much as I do. First you gotta find the tie downs, then you gotta untangle them, then you gotta loop them through your handlebars and compress your suspension down. Then when you come back after riding, you gotta sit there and remember how you had it, depending on how many bikes you're tying down. Well, I've come up with something that I think is a pretty big time saver, and it sure takes away the headache. So let me show you. So this is something that I came up with a couple weeks ago. Just got sick of having to tie my dirt bike down, and it's worked really awesome, and it's really sturdy. So I'm gonna make another one for this side to hold my wife's bike, because it's a 230. It doesn't sit up at the same height as these full-size bikes. So hers has to be a little bit lower. Luckily for me, the Toyotas have this little track system that goes around the perimeter of the bed, so I'm able to utilize that. But really, you could do this with any bike and with any truck if you're willing to screw and bolt to your bedside. This is the foot peg for the 230. This is the bike that I'll be making the bracket for, and I've got a piece of 1.5 by 3 inch rectangular tubing, and the idea is that this will slip over the peg, and that a pin will get dropped through. So you got to find a piece of tubing that will fit your bike. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the back of this on the bandsaw so that the peg of the motorcycle can slip into this piece of tubing from behind. With this tubing notched, it now slides over the foot peg easily, except this foot peg has some sort of massive steel down here on the bottom, so I'm gonna have to remove some material along the bottom of the tubing as well. Okay, so with that relief cut in there, now fits nicely over there, and the bike is going to be able to slide in. So now we just got to determine where we're going to drill the hole for the pin to pass through. So from here, it looks like that's going to be the right location, and let me just sort of confirm that. Put this here and try not to move it. It looks like I was a little bit too far out, so put it right there. And one more thing before you drill this hole, you need to figure out what size of pin you're going to be able to pass through there. A bigger pin is going to be better because it's going to have less movement. And on my 450, I use a big 5/8 pin. But for example, on my CR250, the voids inside the foot pegs aren't big enough, so only a 1/2 inch pin will fit through here. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill a 5/8 hole in here, and should be able to just drop that down and in. So the bike will come in from behind like this. Good. So then we'll want to go ahead and grind off these sharp corners so no one bashes their leg open. bike is loaded on the truck and it's level and it's just right how I would like to have it. And then I've got to figure out at what angle I'm going to cut the end of this so that it will line up perfectly once I weld on the bracket. Now this rail that I have here on the truck has been used for years and years, and it's sort of like tweaked up a little bit. So to get the proper angle, I'm just going to use a little piece of welding rod and hold that between both of those. Just trace this up here. And that should be the angle at which I need to cut the end of that square tubing so that it'll just line up perfectly. So obviously, I don't really enjoy using tie downs. I feel like it's not a very effective use of time, but I mean, they're not so bad. What I like about these brackets is that now I can just get the dirt bikes loaded and unloaded and focus on being with my family or with my friends instead of trying to figure out how to tie 4 dirt bikes down. But this exact design isn't something that you can just bolt off of this truck and go put on any truck. It's sort of specific to the Toyotas, but you could make it work for any truck as long as you're willing to drill into it. And honestly, you could make it using pretty basic tools. If you had an angle grinder, a hand drill, and a MIG welder, you could duplicate this for any dirt bike, for any truck. So get out in your garages, explore, try things out, and have fun.